Yo, what's up guys? Teacher Paul over here, and today we are reacting to a coffee request. So one of our viewers called Bertil, I hope I'm saying your name right, requested this video, so thank you for the coffee. If you want to request a video through Buy Me a Coffee, link is in the description or the pinned comment. It helps me with the channel, and you can also request your own exclusive video. So this is a video about Nordic prisons. It's from a channel called YLE, and I think the program is called the Norden. So let's go straight into this.
Hej och välkommen till The Norden, en serie i vilken vi granskar den omtalade nordiska välfärden, bara att vi gör det genom en utomstående betraktares ögon. Frågan är hurdant samhälle vi nordbor egentligen har byggt upp. I det här avsnittet ska James Conway, före detta fängelsechef från USA, få bekanta sig med nordiska fängelser.
Okay.
Också kallade världens mest humana.
Was this fence here then?
Yes.
Wait a second. So let me just see. I think I reacted to Halden. I reacted to Bastoy also, but I don't know. These are the three.
Humana.
Was this fence here then?
Yes. They cut it through.
We would never allow an individual to cover their face up. I would think the crime victims would be opposed to this type of a living arrangement for the criminal. That's far from a prison in my experience.
Yeah, how does the crime victims or the family react to these type of prisons? He mentioned something important there.
I Norden sitter cirka 17 000 personer i fängelse, och det är en mycket liten mängd av befolkningen om man jämför internationellt. Och de nordiska fängelserna, ja, de beskrivs ju ofta som hotell snarare än en bestraffning. Mycket humana förhållanden, internerna har många rättigheter och straffen de är rätt korta dessutom. Så på ett sätt så är det väl lite förvånande att vi inte har fler fångar än vi har här i Norden.
58, 67, 72, 73.
Och vem toppar statistiken?
Wow.
Jo, USA, med sina tuffa, ogästvänliga, knökfulla fängelser. Och det borde ju vara tvärtom, eller hur? Så betyder snällare fängelser färre intagna? Inte om du frågar James Conway i varje fall. Conway är före detta chef för Attica State Prison i New York, känt som ett av de allra tuffaste högsäkerhetsfängelserna i USA.
Honestly, I don't think it's the prison.
Correctional services are not responsible.
I think it's the country.
And that means you put yourself here. Don't blame the department, don't blame the staff, don't blame the judge, don't blame society. It was your actions that put yourself here. So it's a self-reflection type of a thing. Look to yourself first. Look in the mirror. Michael Jackson song. You want to make a change? Look at the man in the mirror.
And you referenced Michael Jackson.
Nu ska
Okay, my opinion, you guys already know, is that I think it's the country, the society, and everything that makes people actually go into crime. Okay, so Norway is a fantastic country. The quality of living is much different from the United States. And I think the decisions people make in order to be imprisoned, it comes through their education, which is faulty. The fact that they live in the streets, or you know, even if they have a home, they are from the streets and stuff like that. So I don't think the problem is the prison. I think the problem is before they go into prison. You know, the country needs to change in that term of education and mentality and customs and traditions, and you know, the whole thing. I mean, like in the United States, they have this thing that you can't snitch on each other, you know. And that's something that is an example of you know, how to behave in the streets and how to survive. So I don't know if the gangs are strong in Norway, if the street life is strong in Norway. So there is a difference. So I don't think the problem is the prison. I think the problem is the country's society, the way, you know, the way crime is rising. Yeah, but you know, I think the prison in Norway, they have something that they're not getting people coming back to prisons, so they're doing something right, where the United States have a lot of people coming back.
James får besöka några nordiska, mjuka fängelser i Finland, Sverige och Norge. Och frågan är hur mycket han
Let's see
kommer
if
att
he changes his
mjukna
mind
under
by the end of the
resans gång.
video.
Välkommen till Tavastehus fängelse.
Oh, we're in
Byggt
Finland now.
1972 som kvinnofängelse. Men eftersom det inte fanns så många kvinnliga fångar så började man ganska snabbt inhysa män där också.
I thought we were only doing Norway, but this is Nordic, so all... Okay.
Physical plant, what type of programmatic services they offer. Is their mindset that it's the prison's responsibility to change people, or is it the inmates' responsibility to change themselves?
They can't change themselves if they don't have the
curious to see
education.
how that will play out.
You
A
know
lot of
what you
folks,
learn. You know what I'm
unfamiliar
saying?
with prisons think that it's the prison's job to make sure this person comes out as a law-abiding citizen.
It is.
And those of us in prison realize that's not the case.
Kyllä Suomessa niin kuin enemmän pyritään siihen kuntouttavaan.
I want to comment, but I know this video is going to get long, but I don't think it's the person's job to change themselves, because if they were able to change themselves and their education, their mentality, and their upbringing, they wouldn't have committed a crime in the first place. So I think when you go to prison, the prison should have the means to rehabilitate you. You know, I think the prison should educate and re-educate the prisoners that go to jail. So I think the prison is responsible for that, because people are there because they didn't know better, because they couldn't find a way out or another solution. So I think the prison should give them the right way, because there are people who are born and bred for crime. So they will never change, because that's the only life they know. So it's up to the prison to change that, and this is something I agree with Nordic prisons.
Toimintaan ja se, että saataisiin vangit pois tästä vankilakierteestä ja rikoskierteestä. Eli uskotaan siihen ihmisen muutokseen, ja se, että se käsitys, mitä mulla on yhdysvaltalaisesta vankeinhoidosta, niin kyllähän se enemmän on sitten, että siellä uskotaan tähän rangaistavuuteen ja että ne ihmiset niin kuin säilötään sinne vankilan muurien sisäpuolelle pois sieltä yhteiskunnasta.
See, I don't believe in physical punishment.
Tavastehus fängelse inhyser 172 interner och säkerhetsklassas som medium. Hit placerar man också mammor med barn under 3 år.
At the moment we have only 2 female prisoners here, and capacity is for 5 female prisoners.
And all their activities take place within this unit right here?
Yes.
Recreation, meals?
Meals. The only time they go out is when they have this outside exercise or when they go to the gym.
Okay.
You've taken the time and to make this a very family-friendly environment.
Yes.
It does look like a prison. All the toys are put away. Much better than my son's house.
Wow. Oh my
Av
goodness.
fundamentalt enkla biologiska skäl är det inte alltid helt lätt att kombinera fångar av olika kön.
We've had our experiences in New York State with co-ed facilities, and they were very unsuccessful.
Why is that?
There was a lot of interaction between the male and female.
Some people are animals,
a lot
like they need to be re-educated.
Inappropriate activity took place between them, and it was too staff intensive to deal with it. So they decided to separate them.
It sounds...
See, that's the thing about American prisons. I think they try models from other countries before they're ready. So you don't get a criminal and put him together. You don't get people from different gangs and put them together. You don't get people from different genders and put them together. You don't do that. What you do is you first educate them or re-educate them or rehabilitate them, and then you put them in these situations where you're sure and you trust that they won't, be nasty against each other.
It's a bit difficult to deal with.
Are they in class together?
No,
Right now?
they used to be.
Okay.
But as you said,
A lot of bathroom calls to the classroom.
Well, no, not bathroom, but when they had their breaks. But otherwise, all the schedules and the workshop, they are separately. So we are trying to, let's say, divide the activities so there is no encounters.
But you have separate shower facilities, separate, yes, all that stuff. Right?
Obviously.
They coexist in different worlds
and
in same
separate
in same
saunas also.
Do you have
Okay.
any issues with male staff and female inmates? Or female staff and
there has
male
been
inmates?
sometimes rumors, but nothing
Concrete.
Nothing, let's say, hasn't been
Proven.
That's a constant
evidence
problem in New York.
Yeah.
Constant.
Yeah. As I said, it's all about education, manners, society, education.
Wow. Som i sin tur förklarar hur en typisk amerikansk genomgång av cellen skulle gå till.
I would search the bed first, totally top to bottom, everything comes off, and then leave that in a pile, and then go around the room systematically and put everything on the bed that I'm frisking. So that when she came back in, all of her property would be right here on the bed.
So you don't put them back where they were when
That's her job.
Bro, he's laughing as if, nah, man, you don't touch people's, like, organization, you know what I'm saying?
People that work in prisons, in my experience, tend to be rather cynical. I would be cautious to give the inmate the impression that because I'm so caring, I'm also weak. Because we're not. You can
That's
have a
the
humane
thing.
system, but if I take advantage of your humanity or your kindness, I'm going to get put down.
From what I see, Americans have this thing about, being weak, or their pride, or their,
Vi fortsätter vidare
image.
till anstalten i Kumla, kanske det närmaste Attica vi har här i Norden. I Kumla sitter tungt kriminella med långa straff och säkerhetsklassen är hög.
Och det ska bli kul att visa honom mitt fängelse, och jag tror att han kommer känna igen sig väldigt väl härifrån sin erfarenhet från USA. I huvudsak så tror jag att vi är väldigt nära varandra i grundprincipen, och han kommer känna igen mycket här.
James, han blir snabbt imponerad.
It looks like a prison. There's a double chain link fence around the compound, provides enhanced security from what we saw before. There's also cameras that record activity, any illicit activity in the area around the facility. Kenneth.
Hello.
James Connolly.
Welcome to Kumla.
Thank you. I'm pleased to meet you. I'm very impressed with your operation up to this point. I'm sure I'm going to be more impressed as we go on.
I hope so. Now we are at the control room of this prison. It's a new technical system, a new alarm system, a new camera setting. Everything is quite new. About 800 cameras total in the prison.
800 cameras. Bro, what I really love is how clean everything is. I hope the prisoners are cleaning it, though. I hope they don't have cleaners, because the prisoners need to take responsibility for their own
He's in
cleanness.
charge. Knowledgeable. There's nothing he didn't know. He was very open and friendly with the staff. You could tell that they respected him when he came through.
Amazing.
Trots hög säkerhet och gedigen bevakning så har Kumla haft sina incidenter. Kenneth berättar om en av dem, vintern 2004.
So there are problems as well.
In the yard at the time. It was January, 6 o'clock in the evening, so it was complete darkness. Only the lamps on. Two men come from the outside with ladders, raised them to the wall, climbed up, another ladder down, and they had machine guns. One of them had some sort of tool, so he ran to the net, cut it open, took the 3 prisoners out, while the other one was at the top of the wall with a machine gun. And up the ladders and away. 15 minutes, all in all.
So they
Was there a fence
managed.
here then?
Yes, they cut it through. They had a
What did they do to stop
tool
it?
with, I don't know what the
Metal cutting tool of
Yes.
some type.
It was done in seconds.
He's experienced some tough issues.
See, when people start underestimating the prison, they start doing crazier stuff. But what did they do to avoid it?
Svartsjö med en minimalt säkerhetsklassad öppen anstalt med 83 platser. Hit kommer du just före frigivning för att du ska kunna vänja dig till ett liv utanför murarna. Men vår ankomst och framförallt våra tv-kameror uppskattas inte av alla.
Vet du vad? Får jag prata med dig? Han kommer att ta bort alla ansikten på film.
Jag ska inte vara med. Jag ska inte behöva sitta inne på rummet för de här.
Nej, men de kommer inte han visa något ansikte överhuvudtaget.
Hallå?
Men vi går och pratar med dem i centralvakten då. Kom.
They are ashamed.
So this is the living quarter.
That's another difference.
Have a look.
In American prisons, if you watch those reality shows, they all wanna be on camera.
And yet secure.
And they're proud of what they
Ganska
have
snabbt lär
done.
vi oss att det första James lägger märke till i ett rum är de grejer du kan göra vapen av.
I'm talking about the American prisoners that I've seen
You
on
wouldn't see typically.
reality TV.
Burn your eyes.
But that's the thing, you don't give
På
access
Svartsjö har man också kor.
to the knives unless you are sure that they are rehabilitated,
helt
right?
enkelt ska lära sig empati och lära sig att ta hand om saker och ting. Mjuka, lurviga, rara kor för hårda, brottsbenägna individer. Hur köper James konceptet?
It makes perfect sense to me. It teaches them what real work means and the product of their efforts, and they perform a service.
I hope they don't butcher them as well, because that would be
James
counterproductive,
är lite
right?
frånvarande eftersom han kan inte släppa den där incidenten i morse med internen som protesterar.
Would this be a good time to talk about the guy with the white hood this morning?
Yeah, sure.
We would never allow an individual to cover their face up. We couldn't identify him. That's number one. He would be called in and he would be given some kind of a sanction for that episode this morning. If he likes to walk every day, he wouldn't walk for 5 days.
I'm not here to reprimand people. I'm not here to be the bad guy.
You want to hit him where it hurts. If a guy never gets any visits, there's no point in giving him a loss of visitation sanction because he never gets a visit. So you want to try to impress upon him the importance of abiding by the rules by imposing a sanction that
Yeah,
means something.
that's the whole process of grounding
like a
people.
old way of child rearing. You know, when you take away privileges and
That's what
I'm
I
up
said.
here and I can tell you off.
We didn't ask them to come here. Don't blame anybody else for your situation, in other words.
What if you tried to be more therapeutic? Would you have happier prisoners if you tried it, their way?
No.
Why not? Why are you so sure?
Our prisoners would try to manipulate the system. They misinterpret kindness for weakness.
As I said, it's a different country, different people, different culture, different education.
Ventilera saken.
Look,
He was obviously...
let me just mention one thing, guys. I have seen this happen so many times. I'm from a third world country, okay? I live in the UK. And I've seen so many British people be so kind. And I've seen a few handful of people from my country take advantage of that kindness. Because sometimes, like even at the workplace, we talk to the British and say, look, they're taking advantage of you. They're doing this, this, and that. And the British are like, no, they would never do that. No. Because people who have kind minds never think that this would happen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying everybody in my country is bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there are people who are very, very tricky, and when you go to some place like this with people who are very kind and open-hearted and very intelligent people, they don't imagine that the other person is gonna have a different mentality, because hey, we're treating you nicely, we're giving you everything you want, we're treating you the best way that we can, and they can never even fathom the idea that that person that you treated very well could one day backstab you with a literal knife, which that happens. You know, it doesn't matter. There are some people who it really doesn't matter. They are ungrateful and they do stuff like that. So I can understand this Norwegian, I think she's a Norwegian, right? The Norwegian officer. I can understand her mentality, but I can also understand James worrying because he knows how people have reacted. And it's because it's a different culture, it's a different country. And sometimes you're like, no, but we have given them everything. And still, some people, they will turn their backs on you. That's how it normally, that's how it happens. It happens. You can never trust a person 100% if you don't know how they were brought up. There are some people that they swear, they promise on their unborn child, and they lie. Like, this is a stupid example, but have you watched The Boys, Homelander? He promised on his daughter's life, on his son's life, but then he broke his promise. There are some people that don't have word, they don't have morals. There are some people who don't have moral compasses, and I think that's something that maybe in Norway you are so used to being a good person that you can't understand, like, that there are people who are genuinely bad. Not because they want to be, but because they were brought up that way. So they need a little bit of work. I believe in second chances, but you need to work very hard and to trust them. You know, I know that it's good giving the benefit of the doubt. It's good trusting people, but sometimes it's very dangerous because you don't know where that person came from, how they were brought up, and what they were taught from a very young age. Because, as I said, countries are different. Norway is a first world country. My country is a third world country, and some nasty stuff happens there.
In an agitated state. That he was.
You can just watch City of God and you'll have quite an idea. That's not fiction. That really happens. It really happens. There are small children that are given AK-47s to protect their bases. Small kids.
Objecting to our being there. He didn't want his mother to see him on camera, so that's why he was walking around the facility with a white hood on his head.
This was an inmate?
Yes.
Oh.
And I asked if there was going to be any sanction imposed on his behavior that morning. And they said no. They thought it was over with and that they handled it, and he went back to his... I said, well, they just said, well, he likes to go for walks at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I said, well, in our environment, he probably wouldn't be going for any walks for about 7 days.
See, that's the punishment that the US likes to do, because they think grounding people, but I don't think that works either.
Humana fängelser där fångens integritet och rehabilitering är högst på agendan. Och med oss har vi James Conway, före detta chef för Attica State Prison i USA. Och hans linje är hård. Det är du som väljer fängelse, och det är du som tar konsekvenserna.
Prison's not supposed to be comfortable. Prison's not a comfortable situation. Society is supposed to be comfortable.
I agree.
The inmate has given up his right to be in society by violating laws, by violent crime.
But it's not supposed to be punishment, rape. Torture, location either.
That person shouldn't be coddled, shouldn't be given a situation where we're concerned about how they would feel if they were somebody who was to walk by their cell and see them on the toilet.
Bro, that's privacy.
Who cares how they feel?
That's basic human rights. Privacy to your own body, you know.
Är våra fängelser sist och slutligen. Krista Karlsson, han har suttit i alla varianter av anstalter du bara kan tänka dig i sammanlagt 27 år. Idag är han en hederlig man, en fri man, och vi frågar Christer, är nordiska fängelser så lätta att vistas i som det sägs?
Guys, I don't believe a prison should be a place for punishment, but I don't believe it should be a place of luxury either. So I don't agree with the luxurious comfort, and I don't agree with the punishment or the uncleanliness. I think prisons should be basic. Your basic human rights. your right to have food, your right to have basic nutrients, your right to have basic clean places, your basic. No torture, no punishment, but no comfort, no luxury. A chair is made for comfort. You can use a wooden chair and you can use a sofa. I don't think a sofa is what criminals deserve. Give them a chair. They can sit, they can have comfort, but you don't need to give them a flat screen TV. You don't need to give them like $1,000 sofa. I think you can give them basic. A clean toilet, their own toilet, okay. Clean shower, their own shower, okay. They don't need to, shower with all the other people because it's dangerous also, and it takes away your privacy. But I don't think you should have a massage shower or anything like that. So I think prisons should be the basic, the cheapest sofa, the cheapest, because it's taxpayers' money, and some people don't have $1,000 sofas. Some people use chairs in their houses. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not in Norway, but I think it can't be luxurious because criminals don't deserve luxury. They have to work for luxury. We have to work for luxury. Everybody in society needs to work for luxury, and some people don't even get there. But we need to work for luxury. So I think criminals don't deserve luxury, but I also think that they don't deserve punishment and torture and anything like that, because they don't have control of their location anymore because they lost their freedom. So you need to give them the basic food, basic nutrients. You need to care for them. And I think it should be in the middle ground, not luxury and not punishment, just middle, basic. That's it, basic. You want a chair to sit, you're going to sit, you're going to have your comfort from that chair. You want to watch a television show, you get 1 hour or 2 hours because you have to follow the prison's terms and conditions because you lost your freedom. Now you have to follow our schedule. So you're going to have a basic television, not a flat screen TV. I think that's fair.
Visit from Russia and Belarus, and they have been inside prison and inside custody. If you have solarium in the custody, it's they think it's like a hotel. So some of the people, if they ask if they can change the hotel to that custody. So yeah, I can agree.
And that's the taxpayer money.
That they are soft.
Yeah, I think it's good to behave, to treat people with human
treatment. Yes,
I think it's good.
Humane treatment, yes.
If you are,
but physical comfort.
Treat them badly.
Flat screen TVs, I don't agree.
More badly by themselves, and do some more awful crime when they come out.
Yes, I agree. I agree that American prisons, they create monsters. People get addicted in there. People who were never addicted, they get worse there.
Med den humana nordiska varianten. Eller kanske till och med alldeles där i fronten.
Sorry guys, I'm not gonna play this audio because it gets blocked. But they're singing We Are the World by Michael Jackson.
Halden, också kallat världens mest humana fängelse. Byggt 2010 under mottot En järnhand i silkeshandske.
That's nice. But bro, prisoners, I don't think they will take their officers seriously if they see this.
Jeg blir overrasket over, i hans øyne, hvor liberalt det kanskje i Halden fengsel. Det vel det jeg kanskje mest spent på. Det skyldes jo det norske hvilken retning norsk kriminalomsorg har gått de senere årene, hvor vi i tillegg til straffelementet også har mye fokus på tilbakeføring til samfunnet. Der tror jeg kanskje vi har en større tyngde på det elementet av straffegjennomføringen enn hva kanskje USA har.
Yeah, I think the United States has a lot to learn with Norway.
252 fångar och platsen är ute i en vacker avskild norsk landsbygd.
But I also think Norway can take some notes from American prisons.
In a way, the environment softer and keeping a feeling of more normality instead of using just concrete anywhere.
Because there are things that happen in American prisons that will never happen in Norwegian
Det
ones.
vill säga, vad händer med återfallsprocenten
om man
Xbox behandlar fångar så jämlikt och respektfullt som bara möjligt? Är det helt enkelt så att snällhet alltid föder snällhet? Det vill man utreda här.
Surprised to see metal silverware in a high security end facility. It's very well equipped kitchen environment.
Yeah, but I think only people who are finishing their
porcelain
sentences,
plates.
right? People who deserve to be there, I think, who had good
Very
behavior.
functional, however, very sharp and breakage pretty simple.
Yeah, I think only people with good behavior go to this prison.
So, this is the average cell in Holland prison, so every cell is identical actually. Yeah.
So they have cell
Fången
phones
ska till
for
exempel
chargers?
få röka på cellen om han eller hon så bara vill.
It's a difficult issue also in Norway about the smoking, because this is the working environment for the officers, and the working environment in Norway should be smoking free. But at the same time, it's a privacy also of the inmates. So it's a clashes between two needs there. It's the inmates, which is in a way his private living area. At the same time, it's the working environment for the officers. So that's two interests clashing together actually.
I would think crime victims would be opposed to this type of a living arrangement for the criminal. Just my own. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I don't think Norwegian society has that thought, that mentality. I think Americans will be more opposed because Americans they have a harder life, I think, than Norway. I think, and to see a prisoner in such comfort in my country, we would be like, he's living better than me now, in my country. But I think for Norway, this is not an attractive prison. This does not constitute comfort in Norway, because I think Norway has such a high quality of living that what we're seeing here is basic, I think. That's my opinion, and I think people are different, cultures are different. That's why Americans have a different view, I have a different view, and Norway has a different view.
Yeah, maybe you're right, maybe not.
If I was to go to Attica's honor block and pick 4 or 5 inmates and set them down and said, here's your project for today. I want you to draw me up the prison of your dreams. They would probably come back with some kind of a Halden model.
Was that a Scottish flag? Is that a flag of Scotland, or is that just an X?
They would probably come back with some kind of a Halden model. This is prison utopia. This is the best prison you could ever imagine if you were an inmate.
Yeah.
That's far from a prison in my experience.
He is shocked to see this. We are.
What are the possibilities to use
I think we all
for,
are.
The inmates?
The use of internet is an integrated part of all teaching in Norway nowadays. So those going to school
That's important.
can
Teaching.
apply for something called Internet for Inmates, which is a very limited version of internet with predefined sites that you can visit. You are under surveillance. We check every day a log to see where have you been, what have you tried to search for, etc.
Have you found any
That's good.
strange search words?
That
Definitely.
has happened. And
Of course.
They have searched, for instance, for other inmates to find out maybe what they are here for.
Wow,
And,
why though?
That's the kind of use that we do not accept. So when we started this Internet for Inmates, we did have some reactions to begin with, but as they see that things have consequences, the use is more in line with the guidelines afterwards.
They search for so many other things, I'm sure.
In Attica?
Zero.
Yeah, I don't think
James upptäcker plötsligt
I don't think it's
en hylla med
necessary to have
DVD-skivor.
internet.
Being a library, I assume, like I can take a book out and take it back to my cell and read it. Can I take out a DVD?
Yes,
Take it back to my cell and watch it?
Yes.
I'm looking for Escape from Alcatraz.
Smart.
Och allra längst inne på området vid Halden-fängelset når vår resa sin kulmen.
Guys, let me know in the comments, do you agree that prisoners and inmates, they need internet? I understand the fact that, you know, they need to be in touch with the outside world, but at the same time, well, he said it's a very limited internet, okay. But at the same time, I'm worried about contraband. I'm worried about, you know, placing a hit, because people that have access, you know, prisoners that have access to the outside world, they can talk to their family. That's fine, I guess. But they can also order, you know, there's a very famous Brazilian mastermind who is in prison, but he controls all of his criminal activities inside the prison. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. I don't know how, and I don't agree. And also there's a lot of scams that come from prisons. People inside the prison call your phone and say, look, deposit this or else you're gonna get this and that and that. They actually call you from inside the prison to scam you. It's crazy, and I don't know how they have cell reception there either. Wow. Wow, they have a recording studio. I find this nice, you know. A lot of ex-prisoners became musicians.
I'm having a hard time believing that I'm in a prison.
But I wish I had that, you know. I wish I had access to a studio like this. I don't.
I've never seen anything like this anywhere inside a correctional facility.
You're laughing.
I am, because it's rather extravagant with some of the equipment on both sides of the window, and I'm trying to get my head around what type of employment we are preparing an individual for in this kind of environment. I'm more used to teaching inmates or helping inmates get their graduate equivalency diploma, or teaching them woodworking or small engine repair or how to fix a TV or radio.
Well, I can understand your questions, because this is probably the part of the facility that raises the most questions.
Eyebrows, yeah.
You will always see an interaction between the officers and the inmates. That's a vital part, actually, of the Norwegian Correctional Services
like even
ideology.
Akon wrote so many songs inside prison, right?
We have
Descent,
ping pong
I think.
tables in the honor block. And there have been occasions when the officer plays ping pong with the inmates, but if they get caught, they get counseled and disciplined, and they are told they're not supposed to be doing that.
Why are they supposed
That's
to?
not why you were hired. You were hired to be a security officer, a correctional officer. Your job is safety and security.
So they can't interact with the inmates.
It can look so when you look around you, but
I think that only causes division.
Perspective,
I think
from a
they
Norwegian
should
welfare
talk.
society perspective, I'm not quite sure.
He doesn't seem convinced though.
James Conway, före detta fängelsedirektör från Buffalo, USA, har besökt 4 fängelseanstalter
Where are my
i
subtitles?
Norden. Resan den slutar här i det norska fängelset Halden. Och James, han är skeptisk.
Skeptisk. He is
This is
skeptical.
off the map as far as I'm concerned. But I'm very impressed with the operation. I'm also taken aback by some of the things that I saw. I think their model is when you have an unlimited budget, their model is fine, and it's all wine and roses. But I think when the incident happens down the road, they're going to have to make some changes. Everybody's not going to go along with their treatment plan that we're doing this to help you. Somebody's going to go against the grain. There's always a case. And if I'm wrong, then I'll chalk it up to I'm wrong. I mean, but I think within I'd like to see the 5-year model. I'd like to see it go for 5 years and see what happens. How many inmates got stabbed? How many tried to escape? How many assaulted a staff member?
See, now that's not going to happen because Norway has different prisoners than America. Different types of prisoners. Wow, that was a very good video. Thank you so much for that. These videos are good, but I have one issue with this. All of these videos that I've been reacting to, they don't really go in depth onto the mentality, the science. They don't show the results. Like they loosely say, there's this amount of incarceration per 1,000 people, and there's this percent of recidivism. Man, I don't know how to say that word, but reoffenders, let me say. So there isn't like really a science explaining everything, and also they always say it's more than just the physical cell. It's more than just the facilities. They normally say that, but every time I see a video like this, they're showing the facilities, and because I agree 100% with the treatment, I agree 100% with the education, I agree 100% with the mentality of Norwegian prisons, and I think every prison should change their mentality and adapt this model, But I can't see, or I haven't seen a video where they forget all about the facilities and talk about the science, because I would love that. I would love to see that. And I think James wouldn't be skeptical if he saw the science. He said, let's see the 5-year model. Let's see how it goes after 5 years. Let's see the amount of people who were this and that. And also, I would love to see an experiment of, taking this type of prison to the United States. But none of the facilities, I don't agree with the luxury for prisoners. As I said, bro, I really, really, really want to record music. But for me to do that, I need to pay £500 for a session in a studio that is inferior to the one you see there. And I don't have access to that. So I stopped producing music for myself, for my channel, because I don't have the conditions to do so. And then when I see a prisoner that has conditions to do that, they're so lucky. And then I think, what did they do to be so lucky? What did they do? They committed a crime. And then I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I can't have that dream fulfilled unless I pay a lot of money for it. So I understand the rehabilitation process, and I understand people, they need to learn new skills and be re-educated, and I agree with that. They will become your neighbors, and they need to be better people before they go out. But there are some things that I don't agree, which is, I don't think a prisoner or a criminal, I don't believe that a criminal should have more comfort than the normal law-abiding citizen, or than the family of the victim, and I don't agree with that. But then again, as I said, I don't know enough about Norway to know how much access the population has to comfort, to luxury. I'm only seeing the prison side. I believe that if I see the Norway side, that all of these benefits that are given to prisoners are also given to the citizens, and more, and higher quality, I think. Because my only issue is that I don't believe criminals should live a better life than society, than law-abiding citizens. I don't think that. Obviously, I think everybody should live at the same, equal treatment. But when it comes to facilities, I would love to live in a hotel with all the facilities of a hotel. And that's the impression I get when I see these videos. It looks like the prisoners are living in a hotel, but they lost their freedom. That's the only difference, that they can't go outside of the jail, the prison. So that's my final thoughts on this. I don't think prisoners should live better than citizens. And if the prisoners are given this quality of life, then the citizens of the country should have a superior quality of life. Because, but I understand you guys want it to be equal, right? And that's fine. I don't think the society needs to be superior. I just think that it can't be inferior. It can't be lower than what the prisoners are getting. And that's what that's what sometimes happens. Well, at least in my country. Sometimes prisoners get better benefits than people who work hard. But that's it, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for this video. It's very informative, but I want a video that shows the science, the studies, the in-depth, because I love human psychology, and I would love to see how this affects people's mentality, how it changes people. I would love to see that if there's any such video. But anyways, thank you for the coffee. If you want to request a video, the coffee link is in the description. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye. Take care. Oh, also, some people don't have access to education in some parts of the world. And I see that they have access to education. So I really hope that there is free education, free universities for Norwegian citizens, Nordic citizens, because if the prisoners have it, then the population should also have it. So I believe there is free universities or free education, and I hope there is. Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to say. So I don't think the prisoners should have more. They should have equal or a little bit less than the law-abiding citizen. But that's it, guys. Take care for now. Bye-bye. Now you can get full access to exclusive content, special reactions to shows, series, anime, full movies, and even request a video of your choice. Just become a YouTube member or join Buy Me a Coffee today. Find out more, the link is in the description.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right.